Hello everybody. I'm going to open the window here because it's such a beautiful day now. The weather is not super hot. We're almost in September. And the mornings are cool but not cold. And the days still get kind of hot, but yesterday I was actually chilly when I left work to come home. It was actually kind of chilly. So I wanted to, I don't know if it's a confession. It's something that I've been hesitant to bring up. There is a development in my life that I kind of touched upon in a recent video, but it's more than what I touched upon. I don't want to turn into one of those people that talks about God all the time. But I'm becoming one of those people, and I don't want to scare people away from God, because I remember how I was. I think I found God. I mean, I know I found him. And see, here I am. Now my doubt is coming in again. There are times when I am so sure that I feel him there. I feel him, his presence, and it's when I'm truly believing. When I've taken that leap of faith, which I've heard about all my life. You know, those of you who have been listening to my videos or my channel for a while, you know this struggle I've always had with my faith and with God, and is he there, is he not there? And I was kind of an agnostic, and I was trying different things. I've dabbled in different religions and trying to find something. Buddhism was the closest I came before now, which is something that I really felt sort of a connection with some higher energy, which I didn't know what it was. It was through the Tao and Buddhism. But I've even surpassed that now with whatever is happening to me now. And it just came to me sort of like, finally, when you find God, as I have, and I'm even hesitant to say that I found him because I'm still struggling with the faith thing. I mean, it's like I'm there, I believe he's there, I feel his presence, I feel the energy, and then something comes and say, wait a minute, you're crazy, you know. But I find that he's there when I believe he's there. And I don't know how to explain it. And it's called a leap of faith, which you've probably heard the term before. And I'd heard the term my whole life, a leap of faith. And I always applied it more to like take a leap of faith on people. You know, you take a leap of faith and people will let you down, but you'll trust in them and believe and give them a chance. And they'll, will let you down almost always, at least to some extent. But see, the leap of faith, when you take a leap of faith in God, you may not understand why things may go wrong in your life sometimes, but he won't let you down. And he's there. And the reason I don't want to be one of those people that always talks about God and preaching God is because I know how it used to turn me off all the time. When you had people telling you, oh, God loves you and this and that. And you'd be like, all right, yeah, whatever, you're crazy, you know. So I don't want to be one of those people. I just want to suggest to those of you who don't know or still searching, stay open to finding him, because I found him. Him or it or energy, I'm not even going to call it a him because I want to be correct now. There is something there. I believe it's the God that I was taught, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe God is basically what you're taught and what you're able to handle, because it's a power that's so awesome, that's so incredible, that perhaps it takes the form of something that you'll be able to handle, if that makes sense. So maybe for me, it's the God that I was kind of raised with, although my parents weren't very devout, but I was raised in the Catholic surroundings and went to Catholic school and everything. So maybe that's the kind of God that I can handle, and that makes sense to me. So God can do anything. So he'll take the form of whatever there are certain basics, of course, of goodness, of, don't kill, don't steal, the basic morals are there. I find him, and I found him the first time in nature. When I was surrounded by nature, it was about 2 years ago. I'll even admit it's been a while and I haven't really talked much about it. For me, it's that, when I'm in nature and I really start to listen to the birds and how fruit grows on trees and then it falls and then the bugs eat it and then the birds eat the bugs and, the whole natural function of nature left to its own devices. And even there are horrible things in nature too, you see animals killing animals to eat, but it's all part of it. All the beauty and all the pain and all the bad things are part of this energy that transforms. And even sometimes things that look horrendous actually turn out to be something very spiritual. The suffering of Jesus is one, we could call it a symbol to those of you who don't believe in Jesus. The misery of his suffering, the pain, the suffering, all the negative is part of God too, unfortunately. It's part of reaching God. The way I was taught, all the negative stuff comes from the absence of God. But that's part of the thing, you know what I mean? That there's God and the absence of God, and that's it. Those two, there's the positive and the negative energy, and I don't know, when I was in nature, I was feeling that. And I'm going to start to sound crazy, so I'm not going to keep on, and I'm still figuring it out. I don't have all the answers, but I'm finding more and more peace with my faith and strength and belief in God. And I'm pretty sure I believe in him, but then my old self is sort of like, wait, are you sure? But that's when I've lost that leap of faith connection, that when I find God, when I feel his spirit, when I feel the Holy Spirit, is when I just decide I'm believing in him and I know you're there, Lord. And I just decide to take that leap of faith and believe that he's there and he appears. So, skeptics would say, well, that's because you've brainwashed yourself into believing he's there, so of course he's there. But it's not that. It's not that he's there. He just is waiting for you to believe. I don't know how to explain it, and I know it makes no sense. And those of you who have already found that connection with the energy, the Holy Spirit, the natural energy of the universe, whatever you want to call it, because I'm leaving it open for the same reason that I don't want to drive people away from it. But when you find it, all you can do is want to spread that, and then, again, I'm going back to my Christian faith because this is how I can explain it. When you find God, you're automatically called to spread his word. And I'm saying it in those terms, and you can translate it into whatever terms work for you. Like if you're a Buddhist and you found that connection with the energy through Buddhism, you want to spread that. But you know what I mean? And I've got to try to separate my Christian beliefs from whatever that energy is, because I don't want to say that, oh, you have to be Christian to find God. I think that the Christian faith, the Christian teachings have helped me find God. I don't think it's 100 absolutely necessary to be of any particular religion to find God. I think you can find God just on your own, perhaps, but God or the energy, again, I'm going to say God because that's what works for me. I think some sort of formal teaching, some formal instruction in a religion, one of the less extremist religions, one of the major, established religions, helps you find God. It's not a requirement to finding him. And you have to have skepticism about your religion, because religion and God are two different things. Of course, the Christian religion is going to tell you, no, the Christian way is the only way, and if you don't follow the Christian and if you're not baptized, maybe that's true, or maybe that's just the religion, because once a religion gets established, of course, it kind of becomes a business. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. You got to keep things going. And Christianity has helped so many people, as well as the belief in Christianity has harmed people. But it's the belief in a particular religion where you're so close-minded that it no longer becomes about God. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is religion is a good thing, but you have to use your own mind. You should never blindly follow anything, and look at the teachings, and the Christian teachings are the way they are, and there are different sects in the Christian religion. So of course Catholics are some of the most orthodox, the most strict. So sometimes it's hard to follow the Catholic religion, but you do the best you can. And I find that I like the Catholic religion. I'm choosing to return to that, in quotes. I never was really a devout follower, but I'm going to use that as my guideline, knowing that I'm not going to be able to achieve, because it's so strict. The Catholic religion is so strict, at least what I've been exposed to. But I'm going to use that as my baseline, because I'm thinking if you strive for less than perfection, you'll get to less than perfection. So I'm going to strive to be the best Catholic I possibly can be, and follow all those teachings. I also believe that, and I've been listening to a really good guy who I don't believe is Catholic, but I've been listening to him. He's called Derek Prince. He's dead now. But he was a preacher. He explained it really well in one of his sermons, because he has really long sermons. But when you're into it, you really get a lot out of them. He was saying how religion is one thing, politics is another. And even though you have your beliefs and you know what's right morally, you have to follow the law of whatever land you're living in. I am against abortion, and it's a big thing for me. And I've never really talked about it because I didn't want to, I didn't want this channel to be a political, or I want this channel to be where everybody. We all know the arguments on both sides of why you should or why you shouldn't, and and there are good reasons for both sides of the argument. So it's been done to death. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing here. He said, laws are not going to change hearts. You can have a law that says it's legal or it's illegal. It's not going to change what people believe. You just got to give them all sides to the situation, and try to change their hearts to not get an abortion, So I guess reluctantly I've come to because I had to come to some sort of terms with my views on abortion, because it's very painful for me to see how many babies are killed year after year after year. It's into the millions now in the U.S. alone. And I said, how do we reconcile this? How do we, and then of course very devout Catholics believe that those babies are not going to heaven because they're not baptized and all that. That's a separate issue. And that's a certain belief system of religion. It boils down to faith again. We have to believe that God is a merciful God. That's how we're taught. And those babies can't possibly be ending up in hell because they're innocent. They have the original sin on them and all that. But we know that God is a merciful God, and He would not do that. He would not allow, in life, yes, there's a lot of suffering. And we ask, why did God allow this to happen? It's not God allowing anything to happen. It's the absence of God that we're bringing it upon ourselves, in a way. And also, we don't know what happens after. There is, He's there, and he knows what He's doing. We can only, in the end, all we can do is submit to Him. Submit to what His will is. And it's kind of helped me it's kind of helped me in my struggle with the abortion debate, because I know there are very, very tragic circumstances where a woman will end up going and having her baby, and I don't want to, I should say killed, because that's what I believe, that an innocent child is being killed. But we also know that there are a lot of different reasons. There's danger to the life of the mother. There's maybe the baby is so severely deformed that it's a cruelty to bring him into the world in some eyes. Others would say that no matter how sick and how deformed a child or mentally ill or retarded, what's the correct term now? I'm a little I'm a little old, so excuse me. If the baby has mental issues, he's going to be born a vegetable, a part of me believes, well, they're here for a reason. They're here to teach us. God doesn't bring anyone here that isn't meant to be here. And it's not our place to end the life of anyone that, but, I just have to submit to my faith that he's a merciful God, and of course he'll forgive a woman for making that tragic decision. He understands what was in her heart when she made the decision, even if it was a mistaken decision. And he forgives. He forgives. And he just wants you to come to him. That's all I can. And I'm turning into one of those people, so I'm going to stop now. I'm sorry, guys. But, yeah, maybe those of you who are struggling with your faith, as I might have been, and still kind of am, but much less than I used to be, just stay open to him, because you won't find him if you're not open to him, most likely. Just be open to him. If you don't believe in him, okay, don't believe in him, but don't be adamantly necessarily against him, because what other explanation is there? An atheist who says he's not there, period, that's all, this whole universe is a fluke, he hasn't really thought it through, he or she. Now, maybe he or she has thought it through. I'm talking to the atheists now. Maybe you have thought it all through. You've done all your, and fine. And then you've come to the conclusion that, no, the whole universe was just a fluke. It just happened, just coincidence or something. And that's that. If you've done your due amount of thinking about it and exhausted all possibilities and as much as you can, and read the atheist positions, but what I found in atheists, my mother's an atheist, and I've met other atheists, it's not that they don't believe in something. They believe in something. They just don't know what that something is. And there's a fine line between atheist and agnostic. An agnostic is someone who kind of doesn't really know, doesn't do too much thinking about it, doesn't say he's not there. Or maybe he's thought about it and he just decided, well, I don't know, and I'm fine with not knowing, and that's just the way it is. But they're all phases of reaching God. Atheism, agnosticism, struggling with your faith, and finally believing in God. They're all just layers of spirituality. So, all right, I've said my piece on that. I'm not going to get too long about this. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.